want you guys to see this. I keep getting these notifications on Facebook saying that I have a notification, but I don't. Okay, as you can see here, I don't every time. Here we go again, new notification. But I don't have a notification. Again, these are subliminal. See, it's popped up again. See that new notification popped up. Watch. And when I do this, there's no new notification. There's no new thing at all. But it keeps doing this. All right. Again, this is how they're trying to send subliminal message. Now I think this is because today, see here it popped up again. Okay, popped up again, no notification. So anyway, so this is because this morning, when I read this morning, but I think I woke up around after 11, right? And as soon as I woke up, they started with the police sirens outside. So I just stayed in bed, I had to go brush my teeth, had to go pee. So I wanted to make sure that, the other family member that was here, they were up very early because I woke up around 9 something this morning. Notification again. But I just stayed in bed and went back to sleep because I figured, when I get up, there'll be nobody in the bathroom, so I can go use the bathroom. So when I eventually woke up, again, police sirens. Then so I got out of bed, waited for a few minutes, got out of bed, and normally, the bathroom door's closed. I usually knock on the bathroom door. Okay, I usually, I'm very good at knocking on the bathroom door because there are other people here, and unlike the people here who will just open the bathroom without knocking, I did the same thing. Okay, so and again, this was done intentionally to me using the microwave frequency silence on spectrum to just open the bathroom without knocking on it. So I opened the bathroom, and my nephew's daughter's in the bathroom, half naked, staring out the window. So I closed it real fast. I was like, oh shit, I'm sorry. I was like, you know what? I didn't even follow my own advice because she's usually, when I'm in the bathroom, she's usually opening the door without knocking. So I said, you always got to knock. So I said to her, I closed the door and I was like, okay. I was like, I'm sorry. That's my fault. I didn't follow my own advice. After that, they all started doing the hand behind the back palm fixation drill. Okay, so now I'm getting these notifications, and again, no notification. Let me see if it pops up again. Let's see. Okay, I'll film it back. Probably not, because now they know I'm recording. Okay, so this is what they do. Again, I've been studying this program for a very long time, right? So one of the worst label they can put on a person is the pedophilia or sexual assault act, right? Again, I'm not a pedophile. I don't sexually assault anybody. And so they're constantly trying to run these narratives, right? These negative narratives against the TI. And because of the remote neural monitoring that's being done, and because they can, they've mapped the brain, so, they have the algorithms, the software to decode the images that you see or what have you as a TI. Not just as being a TI, you get to understand that you're a microchip, right? And for the purpose of remote neural monitoring. So, but again, they will say, well, okay, you guys are crazy. That's why, when you go if you go to a psychiatrist or a hospital, what have you, and you're having some sort of mental episode, they'll say, oh, do you hear voices? And if you say yes, then they'll be like, okay, they'll label you, okay, he's schizophrenic or she's schizophrenic, blah, blah, blah. And they know that there's technologies out there that can induce and put voices in people's head. They know that. They know this shit for a decade. There's plenty of information out there. Okay, so let's not try to act as if these things don't exist. And if you're a TI and family members, people telling you these things don't exist, they're being manipulated to ignore these things. Okay, and this is what the Russians said. The Russians who developed these technology said, and I put a post on Facebook. In 1994, before 1999, I think it's 1992, but I put 1994. I gotta correct that. 1992, where the FBI wanted to use this machine to beam messages into the head of David Koresh, who was the leader of the Brands Davidian. You all remember this if you've lived in this country long enough, and if you're old enough to remember that. And they didn't, because the Russians couldn't guarantee that it wouldn't cause David Koresh, psychological and neurological damage, all right, negative adverse effect because of these things. So they said that they put a hold on it. They didn't do it, which, who knows. But anyway, so this morning was all a setup. And like I said, they will use these situations, create these situations, and spin it their way, create their narrative, just like they do in terms of me being a black man, what they do with black men, how they create negative images of black men to scare other groups of people, white people, other groups of people, to put fear in their minds and in their heart of black men. Okay? But the facts are, black men are no more scarier than a white man, a Chinese man, I should say a Chinese man, sorry, an Asian man, a Hispanic man, or whatever else. Okay? But because of the narrative and the false negative images put out there in the subconscious mind of people, which this negative subliminal programming has embedded itself, it plays out when people come in contact with black men and black people in particular. Okay? So understand this and perception and how they spin it, right? And so again, what I do is that I take the truth and I use their method, and I put messages out there exactly who they are. But I'm using the truth. I'm not using no made up narrative that I made or created, anything like that. Everything that I put out there is documented. Okay? So this is what they're doing, or trying to do. And again, this is why I put out these messages, because I understand what it is that they're doing. Okay, and I let them think that, okay, I don't know, and I'm not going to put it out. I'm not going to say nothing because of whatever happened. And the facts are, I will put it out there, because I have nothing to hide. I have nothing to be ashamed about. The shame and guilt shit don't work with me. Okay? And this is what they try to do to us as TIs. Okay? It's shame and guilt. And the reason for that, again, is to stop you from coming forward, from exposing what it is that they're doing. Okay? So like I said, I'm always knocking on the bathroom door. And like I said, I stayed in bed to give them enough time so they can get ready. And the funny thing is, and I've said this before, this used to happen at night. Right? So I would, because before they would, basically be in the bathroom all damn day. So I would take a shower at night. Then they started staying up late at night, wanting to take a shower at night. So I switched it. Okay? To where I'll take a showers in the day. Okay? And then within about 2 to 3 weeks of doing that, they switch their tactic of now also taking a shower during the day. So I want you to understand, as a TI, this is what they do. Constantly trying to create false narrative. For example, in another example, so like I said, I'm always knocking on the door. So one night I got up out of bed because I had to go use the bathroom, and I knocked on the door. I knocked on the door a couple times, in the bathroom door. No one answered. I opened up the bathroom door. My nephew's niece, she's on the toilet, and I said to her, "Don't you hear me knocking? I'm knocking on the damn door, and you're not answering. You're not saying nothing." Okay? So like I said, when they'll have family member participating in doing shit like this to try to insinuate or try to give the impression, because they took, if you're a microchip, right, just like I am, they will, again, they'll use images that you have in your mind that they've set up. Like I said, like I opened up the bathroom door without knocking. Again, that was my fault. But again, it could be the technology, because I'm always knocking on the door. Right? I'm always knocking on the door. And so when I open it up, she's looking out the window, half naked. I'm just like, so I close it real fast. I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I was like, "You know what? I didn't follow my own advice. I apologize." And I walked away. Within 5 minutes, my niece her dad and her brother started doing palm fixation drill. Hands behind the back, palm open. Then I get a notification from this guy doing a live video, that sort of thing, right? So it's always that subliminal message about being watched. Then I get another notification with an eye. See if I can show you guys, because I think I yeah, here it is. So I get another notification with an eye, right? Okay. And I was like, okay. Again, the way how they do these things and these things play out, it is really, really weird. But I understand the subliminal message. I understand what they're trying to do, trying to give that perception. Because for one, when they are afraid of you, okay, and it's not because you are a threat, but it's not the type of threat that they're trying to insinuate. Particularly me being a black person, being outspoken about our issue, white supremacy, and wanting black people to start to create things, create your own business, employ more black people, which again, you don't even see. Okay? Black people will become wealthy, not create businesses, not create industries, not build hospitals, okay? Not build technology companies. And there's a reason why we don't do these things. We don't do these things because we've been programmed not to do these things, not to think about these things, okay? Whether it be out of fear of being sabotaged, or just the use of the technology to to make us not think about these things. But it is happening regardless of what people want to tell you, okay? And when you have other black people around you who are so into their own selfish ways and way of thinking, because it's all about themselves, maybe they're, certain family members, what have you, but not thinking about the future of their children. Now, some people may say, well, I'm not thinking about my future because, look, I've been in this program for almost 2 decades, okay? 2 decades, right? That means that every opportunity that I tried to create a business have been destroyed. Whether it be sabotage or whether they basically try to intimidate me into not pursuing, any type of business venture or anything like that. For example, like when I start thinking about investing, people start walk by shaking the change in their hands, in their pocket, even here within my family, right? So just to show you, and not to show you, but to tell you guys exactly what it is that they're doing. And don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Okay? Don't fall for that negative shit that they try to do and try to insinuate, because they're lying. They are lying. And because they are in the position of authoritative position, we tend to believe them, though we know the history of what it is that they're trying to do. Nothing I want to talk about. So lately, okay, and actually not lately, but there's an article that they've been researching into, the mental health of wealthy black men, right? And the findings are that when the more wealthier you become as a black man, you have more of a propensity to have a mental illness. Now, this is not by coincidence. Okay? This is not by coincidence. Right? Because when you're a white man and wealthy, you don't have that. When you're a black woman and wealthy, you don't have that. When you're a white woman and healthy, you don't have that. When you're an Asian woman and healthy, Asian man and healthy, you don't have that. When you're a Hispanic man and Hispanic, you don't have that. But when you're a black man, the more money you earn, or the more money you have, right, is the more susceptible you are to having a mental illness. Now, why is that? Think about that. Why is that? Okay? So, look, I know this, like I said, I keep saying this. I know this is my TI channel, But I got to talk about my experience as a black person also, because it ties into this. Everybody is targeted for whatever reason. Okay, part of my targeting is the fact that, because this is what I truly feel, because of what I experienced during the earlier days of my targeting. You know, when I would read up on Malcolm X, when I would read up on Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, there was always police sirens in the background trying to deter me from reading about these great ancestors. You know, trying to bring me back into that Christian bullshit about Jesus Christ died for my sins and all this nonsense. And Jesus Christ didn't really die, because he rose again, right? That's what they said, right? He died and he rose again. So did he really die, or was he in a coma? Right? So understand that. All right. So if, like I said, if you're a TI, if you're white, and you feel uncomfortable hearing me talk about my plight, not just as a TI but as a black man, and the issues affecting black people, I don't give a damn. Okay? But I care enough about you to do this to expose what's going on, so that it is also going to benefit you in terms of people understanding what's being done to you also. Okay? So that's who I am. All right? So again, if me talking about my plight as a black man, in as well as my targeting on my channel, you don't got to listen. Unsubscribe me. I don't give a shit. Like I said. For the rest, I appreciate the support. I appreciate the love. You know, and again, I keep saying this. You know, people want to say I'm racist. First of all, as a black man, a black person, period, we cannot be racist. Racism is a systematic. It's systematic, right? It is a system. It is not the individual. It is a system. Okay? When we call a white person racist, it's different, because you know what? White people control the society. They have the power. They have the money. They have they own the businesses. They own the whether it be the financial institutions, hospitals, all of that stuff. They can deny me a job because of my race. They can deny me a place to live because of my race. Black people can't do that. So black people cannot be racist. If we can be bigoted, if we don't like you because you're white, yeah, you know, that's bigotry. But that's not racism. Racism is systematic. So, you know, understand what racism really is. Okay? So, like I said, I am not against anybody who is not against me. But I am against anybody who is against me or my people. Remember that. Okay? So anyway, so I just wanted to make this video again just to expose what it is that they're trying to do, because like I said, they're, you know, they are masters of psychological manipulation. Okay? They are masters of manipulating you and I, and they are masters of using that manipulation against you and I. Okay? But when you understand the manipulation that has been done and continue to do, you can expose it. Oh, you hear the sirens now. Yes. It never fails. When every time I expose them for who they are, you will start to hear the stuff, the sirens afterwards. So their false narrative, okay, will not hold. All right? Because I am not afraid to talk about my experience in this program. Okay? And it is my truth that's going to overcome their lies. And they know this. Okay? Because everything that they do is based on lies and manipulation. Lies and manipulation. Right? From the technology that they develop that they lie about. Alright? And let me tell you something. I am, but I shouldn't say that, but I am I am thankful that what happened to the American diplomats in Cuba and China has been in the news when it happened, because many people would not believe it. Okay? And many people think that this stuff is new, but I keep saying that if you go back, you go into the CIA declassified section on their website, Freedom of Information Act section, and you will see documentation of Russia doing the same thing to the American embassy in Russia in 1968, and that went on for 10 years. Okay? and then read about what happened to those diplomats. All right? So, like I said, they're all liars, and they base everything on lies. So you have to counter their lies with your truth. But you need to be careful, okay? Because the one thing that they've done in the past to you has been manipulated you, the people around you, and your surroundings. Right? So I wouldn't say anything that can incriminate you in a court of law, because that it is that they want. They want to get rid of you. When it comes to this type of experimentation, if they don't kill you, if they don't label you as crazy and that label holds to where no one will believe you, but when they realize that those things have failed and you've actually did the studies, did the research to understand what's happening to you, they're going to attack you in the worst ways. And one of the worst labels they can put on you, like I said, is sexual assault and pedophilia, right? This is because that's who they are. Okay, that is who they are. So they have to project who they are onto you in order to take the focus off of them, right? And put the focus on you while they continue to get away with those things. Okay? Also, physical abuse of women is what they'll try to use also. But, like I said, there's information and the truth is out there, the facts is out there, and it tells you that that the amount of domestic violence in the homes of police, people who are members of the police force, is actually greater than the amount of domestic violence in the general public. Okay, and that's a fact. And also in the military, and that's a fact. So don't let them try to put that label on you either. All right? It's all manipulation. It's all psychological manipulation and tricks. And you'd be surprised how many people believe these things. And because they want to believe it, because they either are engaging, they're getting something from it, okay? And trust me, when it comes to money, most people, okay, and I say most people will do whatever to get money. And particularly us as black people being in the poverty-stricken state that we are, there are a lot of us, all right, that will engage in these sort of acts to destroy another black person life just for a little bit of money. Okay? And this is why it's important as we as black people that we build institutions to where we don't have to be manipulated. We don't have to be blackmailed, and in order to or blackmail anybody in order to gain money and stuff like that, or to have people come in and try to use us against each other, right? Bribing us with money. We don't have to do that. Okay? And I know there are white people out there and Asian people out there who engage in this too, but if you're a white, Asian, whatever, you can speak for you and your people. Right now I'm speaking for me and my people, right? So understand that. Okay? So that's it. I'm actually doing a online course for math, because again, my short-term memory is just not as good as I hope it would be. So I'm constantly looking at these videos over and over again to try to put it into my long-term memory, so hopefully it might stay there a little bit longer. So again, whenever as a TI, when you try to improve yourself, they will try to bring you back down, because not bring you back down, but they'll try to bring you in a negative state and constantly having you in a negative state, because they don't want you to improve in yourself. Because guess what? It goes against their narrative. It goes against their false narrative, right? And when you start to respect other people, see, another new notification. Look at that. Oh, it just went down. New notification. But I have this up, right? And there is no notification. You see that? There is none. Okay? There is no notification. But I keep getting these notifications. One notification, and it never and our goal is not there. So again, this is what they do, and they've been doing this, and they've been doing this ever since that incident that happened, right, that I talked about. So I was going to go outside and do this, but since they've been very active and aggressive with this, I said, let me do this right now just in case. And plus I got to finish my class, which I'm doing on my own, not my college class, because again, when I go back to school, I got to take pre-cal, so I want to make sure that I at least pass it. I don't need to get 100 or 90, what have you, because in my present condition, neurologically, I'll be very fortunate if I do, right? And again, I may have to go into the school, so that's another issue, because when I'm in the school and they start running their street theater, it becomes very hard for me to focus. So I guess that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Don't fall for their deceptions and their lies. They plan these things, okay? They create these things, and because they know that the general public, they have gotten the general public not to believe you and I, right? And to believe their narrative, again, which is a false narrative, because again, the general public don't want to believe about these technologies, all right? Which is fine. But I choose to share my truth and my experience in this program, and hopefully more and more people will start to listen. They'll start to do the research, regardless of what they say. Like I said, go and do the research, okay? Information is out there, without a doubt. All right, so I'll see you guys in the next video.